What's up, everybody? It's your boy WerlsTV, back again with another video. If you are new, make sure you hit that like, comment, subscribe button, hit that little bell on the top to stay up to date with the recent post notifications of this channel. And so today's video, I'm going to be talking about the big blockbuster trade and who I thought won the trade between the Philadelphia 76ers and the Brooklyn Nets. Now, if you've been living under a rock and haven't been up to date to what's going on, the Sixers have acquired James Harden and Paul Millsap from the Brooklyn Nets in exchange for Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-round draft picks. Now, there's been a lot of talks about who do you think won the trade. I've been seeing analysts from Stephen A. Smith to Shannon Sharp, Skip Bayless, all these sports debate shows. I've been answering this question and debating this question, who do they think won? And I'm going to chime in and say I believe that the Brooklyn Nets won this trade by a mile. And I'm going to thoroughly break down why I think that. So let's start with the Brooklyn Nets side. They get a young 25-year-old Ben Simmons. The Nets got exactly what they needed in this trade. They got a legit playmaker who could facilitate the offense. He gives your two best perimeter shooters in Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving much more easier shots, along with others in the corner like a Joe Harris when he comes back, a Patty Mills, and etc. And we're going to talk about the other new addition that the Nets added to as well. Now, he also gives them another lethal shooter, Seth Curry, who is also part of the trade package. Seth Curry gives the Nets another lethal shooter. He's going to be able to space the floor. They're going to take some offensive pressure off KD, Kyrie, because Seth is capable of scoring 20 points a night if he wanted to. I mean, he's averaging 15 right now. He had 23 in his debut against the Kings, and he was also Sixers' best three-point shooter and shooter in general. I mean, he shot, 40% from three this season, 43.7% from the career, and he's shooting about 40% from the field right now. So Seth Curry fits the Nets' space and style of play because, again, as I mentioned, the shooters, when Joe Harris comes back, that's another threat from beyond the arc that teams are going to have to be aware of. You know, you have Patty Mills, you have Cam Thompson, and now you have Seth Curry. So you have 4 legitimate, perimeter shooters who are going to cause havoc for the Nets if you leave them wide open or give them a little bit of room. They're going to knock down that shot with confidence. Now, again, number 3, why I think the Nets won this trade is because they got deeper. They got a big man inside, which the Nets so desperately needed because they are so thin at that front court position. I believe they just had Claxton and Aldridge because Millsap decided he didn't want to play for them anymore. He wanted to play somewhere and have more minutes in the rotation. So you bring in a guy like Andre Drummond, valuable minutes off the bench, is capable of getting 20 rebounds a night if he wanted to, capable of getting about 5-6 offensive rebounds. So that's going to be second chance points for the Nets, who could put up a couple more points on the board. Now, going back to Ben Simmons, his style of play makes this team so deadly because, again, his ability to facilitate the offense, his passing ability, his court vision. Imagine a fast break. Ben Simmons has the ball. You have KD in one corner, Kyrie in another corner, and Seth Curry down. That you're going to have to pick your poison because it's like, all right, all these 3 guys can shoot greater than 45% from beyond the arc. So that's just going to be a nightmare matchup for teams. Now, let's look at the defensive side of things of what Ben Simmons brings. He is going to make the Nets a much better defensive team. Now, Brooklyn is not a bad defensive team, but they're not great either. They're about the middle of the pack, I believe, this season, last time I checked on the NBA stats. So Brooklyn's about a middle of the pack team. Ben Simmons, who's a legit 6'10 guard, who could guard 1 through 5. He's going to have his hands in passing lanes. He's going to come up with he's going to clean up a lot of defensive errors. He's going to block a lot of shots, contest a lot of shots, and thus that's what Brooklyn needed because a big glaring hole in when you watch this team play was defense because they gave up a whole bunch of points in the paint and they were just lackadaisical in the defensive end. There's a lot of bad communication, a lot of bad switches. So I believe Ben Simmons, he will be able to fix a lot of those errors. Reason number 4 why the Nets won this trade is because their championship window has extended. Kevin Durant is already locked up to a long-term contract. He signed an extension this past offseason, so he's good for another 4 or 5 years. Simmons was already locked up for a good 4 years because he signed his extension with Philly. Ben Simmons is 25. I believe he's what, 6, 7 years younger than James Harden. Still has a little bit of time to develop his game in terms of adding that jump shot that we've been on him for, because in the new NBA you need some type of jump shot to be relevant in this day and age. But he still has time to develop that jump shot, so his ceiling is still yet a little bit uncapped. And guess what? So you have two of your big three locked up that you don't have to worry about contracts. The only thing you have to do is just re-sign Kyrie Irving to a long-term deal. And obviously, hopefully he will be able to play home games pretty soon, because there's been talks and rumors about the New York vaccine mandate being lifted, which, if that's the case, it's about damn time. But that's something that should have been taken care of in the beginning, because we've seen all these mask requirements being eased as well. So that's it in terms of the championship window. But that's it in terms of the Kyrie Irving situation. But going back to Ben Simmons in the championship window, so you have a guy who's 25, 6, 7 years younger than James Harden. Okay, you got two of your big three already locked up. You just have to worry about Kyrie Irving being signed to an extension. And Ben Simmons' style of play, again, fits on what the Brooklyn Nets want to do. Now, there's been some rumors and some reports I've been seeing that Harden and KD clashed on the Nets' offensive style. Harden wanted more of ISO ball, while Steve Nash and Kevin Durant wanted more of a free-flowing offense. And not to take a dig at Harden, but we see where ISO ball has got him. Now, yes, he's going to put up a lot of points, 50, 60-point triple-doubles, but it doesn't translate to team success in terms of wins, because he's never been to an NBA Finals. So those are my 4 reasons why I believe the Nets won the trade. They got younger. Championship window has extended. They got an extra shooter, which they needed to create more spacing on the floor. You got an amazing big man who could guard 5 positions and who could also facilitate. Now, a lot of people have been saying that Ben Simmons could be kind of a Draymond Green role, but I think he could score 18 a night without a jump shot. I mean, he's averaged 16 for his career without having a consistent, reliable jump shot. So if he adds just a 10, 15-foot mid-range, he will be a great threat to that trio. Again, we're not asking Ben Simmons to start shooting 40% from 3. That's not going to happen. But if he can consistently knock down that 10, 15-foot mid jumper, and if he's not afraid to knock down free throws and hit them, then he is going to be a dangerous player in this game, and a dangerous piece, a great piece to the Nets' big three with KD and Kyrie. Now let's take it over to the Philadelphia 76ers side. Now, here's some of the issues why I have with what they did with the trade. Now listen, no slash to James Harden. He is an incredible player. He is a top 10 player in this game. We know what he could bring to the table. He can explode for a 60-point night at any given time. He's just that talented one-on-one offensively. Nobody could touch him probably in this game outside of, Kevin Durant and maybe Kyrie in terms of going one-on-one. But what I have issues about James Harden is his lack of mental toughness. He doesn't have no heart in terms of he quits when adversity hits. And look at the just 2 prime examples we have right in front of us. He quit on Houston. Houston was a championship team. Okay, fine. You wanted a way out. You forced your way to Brooklyn. Not even 13 months playing a full 2 years in Brooklyn, now a year and a half, you quit that franchise. So you quit 2 franchises in under 2 years because things were a little tough and they weren't going your way exactly. So that's one thing about James Harden. He can't handle adversity. He can't handle the storm. And if things aren't peachy perfect for him, he's going to get up, quit, dog on the team, have lackluster performances, and just force his way out of there. Or he'll come into training camp out of shape and have some type of fat suit to force his way out of town. Another thing that I don't have about James Harden, continuing with his physical condition, is his hamstring issues. I mean, he has been having hamstring issues that have been bothering him since last season in the Milwaukee Bucks series. Now, a lot of people have been questioning, what's the legitimacy of that injury? Did he just sit out until he got traded to Philly? Again, I don't know. Philly is keeping him out until after the All-Star game, so maybe he has some type of, hamstring tightness or hamstring, severeness to that. But if you've been having hamstring issues, that kind of goes to show you how well somebody has been, working out in the all season. Really has been the lack of taking care of their bodies. As we all know, you got to stretch before you do any type of workout. So constantly having hamstring issues just kind of goes to show you again a lack of a person's ability to maintain their body in the off season to keep it in tip top shape, especially being a professional athlete. Another thing with James Harden, he can't play well with the superstars. Now, you have played, in OKC. That didn't work out because of contract reasons, whatever. So you go to Houston. The Rockets are your franchise. You're the face of the franchise. You got your Dwight Howard. That didn't work out. You want a CP3? They got you CP3. That didn't work out. You want a Russell Westbrook? They got you Russell Westbrook. That didn't work out. Hell, you even okayed the trade for John Wall. Got you John Wall. That only lasted about 10 games before he quit on that team. And then now you go and play with KD and Kyrie. You guys don't even play 20 games together, and then you bounce and quit on that. And so you go on from playing what everybody is calling Kevin Durant the best basketball player in the league, along with Kyrie when he's able to play, all the games, to a questionable question mark injury-prone Joel Embiid. Now, I love Joel Embiid. He's having an MVP-type season, putting up monstrous points and numbers all across the board. He's definitely the clear front-runner to win the league, to win the award right now if the season ended. But Embiid is injury-prone. He has not had one season where he's played over 64 games. I'm going to repeat that. Since he got drafted into the league in 2014, Embiid has not had one season where he has played over 64 games. He missed his rookie year because of an injury. He has had multiple knee issues in terms of a meniscus or type of fracture or whatever, back issues. You can't trust Embiid in terms of his durability. Now, when he plays, he's going to give you a maximum amount of effort, but say if he goes down in a pivotal, game 5 in a playoff series against, the Brooklyn Nets or the Bucks, James Harden's going to have to go solo. And that's the reason why he wanted out of Houston, because he was tired of going solo. That's another reason why he wanted out of Brooklyn, because Kyrie was only eligible to play road games. And at the time, Kevin Durant is hurt right now at the time of this recording. So James Harden was like, well, damn, I got to do this solo. So if Embiid goes down, you got to do this solo as well. So I don't trust Embiid in terms of his durability. Now, another thing, last thing about why the Sixers also lost his trade, Doc Rivers is a questionable head coach. Now, yes, he has one championship. He won in 2008 with the Boston Big Three. I like to say the Big Four. But you have one title in your 23 years of coaching. You also have the most blown 3-1 playoff leads in NBA history. Not also to mention the Lob City Clippers was seen as an ultimate failure. You mean to tell me you couldn't get to the Western Conference Finals with Chris Paul, with Blake Griffin, with DeAndre Jordan, with Matt Barnes, with JJ Redick, with Jamal Crawford, with that talented crew? You cannot get to one Western Conference Finals. That is a ultimate failure. Now everybody wants to say, well, Steve Nash is, this is what his second year coaching. He really doesn't have much coaching experience. Granted, yes, that is correct. But Steve Nash is trying to implement the D'Antoni/Golden State style of offense. As I just mentioned earlier in the video, Nash and KD want a free-flowing offense like they did in Golden State. And people seem to forget. Steve Nash was a consultant in Golden State with Steve Kerr and them, and I believe it was, helping out players with their shooting and stuff like that. We've seen there's videos in the past of Nash and KD working out. So Nash saw the type of offense that was in Golden State. He brings alongside Mac D'Antoni to his coaching staff, trying to implement the same thing. James Harden, on the other hand, was like, well, ISO ball. ISO ball hasn't gotten you far in terms of success, bro. So Nash is still a new coach trying to implement this offense. Yes, he's still new. But let's give him time, I believe. Nash has made some critical mistakes, I believe, in terms of his timeout use of the clock. But again, he's only year 2 coaching. Experience is the best teacher. But overall, I think that the Sixers lost this trade. The Nets won this trade by a mile. I mean, Harden went from playing with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving to a question mark in general in Philly, because you don't know, if Doc Rivers is going to do some adjustments that's going to blow you a lead in the playoff series. And you don't know if Embiid's going to stay healthy for a 7-game series. Only time will tell. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Who won the trade? Was it the Philadelphia 76ers or the Brooklyn Nets? Stay tuned, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and follow WerlsTV on Instagram, Twitter, and we are now on TikTok. See you guys next time. Peace.